The roar of the crowd is a physical thing, a wave of sound that crashes over you, vibrating in your chest. You can feel the collective energy, the hopes and anxieties of thousands of people all focused on a single point. It's a palpable force, capable of lifting spirits or crushing them entirely. Pulsing through the humid Houston air, the air itself seems to crackle with anticipation, thick with the scent of sweat, beer, and the electric hum of the stadium lights. It's a sensory overload, a cauldron of emotion ready to boil over. Under the stadium lights, tens of thousands watched, their faces illuminated by the glow of the pitch. Every seat was filled, every voice ready to erupt. The stadium was a living, breathing entity, its heart beating in unison with the rhythm of the game. As Costa Rica, a proud football nation with a rich history, trailed the Dominican Republic, a team hungry to prove themselves. The underdog story was unfolding before their eyes, but Costa Rica desperately needed to rewrite the ending. The clock was merciless, ticking down with agonizing slowness, each second a hammer blow to Costa Rican hopes. Time was running out, and the specter of defeat loomed large. Every missed chance tightening the tension, ratcheting up the pressure on the players and the fans alike. Each near miss was a collective groan, a shared moment of despair that threatened to engulf the stadium. Then, chaos in the box, a tangle of legs, a desperate challenge, a whistle, a penalty awarded. The stadium erupted, a cacophony of cheers and protests, a moment of pure, unadulterated drama. For Costa Rica, this was more than a chance. It was survival. It was a lifeline thrown to a team drowning in disappointment, a chance to salvage their tournament hopes and restore national pride. One kick would decide their fate, the culmination of years of training, countless hours of practice, and the weight of expectation bearing down on a single individual. The hopes of a nation resting on a single player, a young man tasked with carrying the dreams of millions on his shoulders. The pressure was immense, the stakes impossibly high. Imagine standing 12 yards from goal, the distance seeming to stretch into an eternity, the weight of the world pressing down on you, the world watching, every eye scrutinizing your every move, the goal shrinking before your eyes, the goalkeeper a looming figure of opposition. This was Manfred Ugalde's moment, the culmination of his career, the opportunity to etch his name into Costa Rican footballing history. Chosen to carry the weight, he faced a test of nerve and skill, a trial by fire that would define his legacy. Could he handle the pressure? Could he deliver when it mattered most? The Gold Cup is built on moments like this, the drama, the tension, the unforgettable scenes that are etched into the memories of fans for generations. Pressure, the kind that can make or break a player, the kind that separates the legends from the rest. Pride, the unwavering belief in your team, your country, your ability to overcome any obstacle, and the dream of glory, the ultimate prize that drives every player, every team, every nation to compete with passion and determination. In the group stage, every goal can mean the difference between advancing or going home, between continuing the journey or facing the bitter disappointment of elimination. The margins are razor thin, the stakes incredibly high. As Ugalde placed the ball, carefully positioning it on the penalty spot, the stadium held its breath, a collective silence descending as the weight of the moment settled upon everyone present. The next few seconds would define the match, and perhaps Costa Rica's tournament, shaping their destiny and determining their fate in the Gold Cup. Everyone knew they were witnessing something unforgettable, a moment that would be replayed and discussed for years to come, a defining chapter in the story of Costa Rican football. The CONCACAF Gold Cup is where regional pride and fierce rivalries collide. This group stage clash was critical. Costa Rica, the favorites, needed a win. The Dominican Republic, hungry underdogs, had nothing to lose. Costa Rica's fans, La Marea Roja, filled the stadium with chants and color, while Dominican supporters matched their passion with drums and horns. On the pitch, Costa Rica controlled possession, probing for openings. The Dominican Republic defended with discipline, waiting for their chance to counter. It was a tactical chess match, favorites pushing, underdogs resisting. Every pass, every tackle raised the stakes. The atmosphere was electric, the outcome uncertain. This was Gold Cup football at its most intense. As the second half wore on, Costa Rica's attacks grew desperate. The Dominican defense held firm, growing in confidence. Then, in the 67th minute, the underdogs struck a lightning counterattack, a perfect cross, and Dorny Romero finished clinically. The stadium erupted, Dominican players and fans in disbelief and joy. They were leading against a regional giant for Costa Rica. It was a nightmare. Stunned silence replaced confident chance. The pressure mounted, the clock ticking down. Coach Suarez urged his team forward, but the Dominican defense dug in. Every minute, the dream of a historic upset grew stronger. Costa Rica faced a daunting task: break down a team now defending with everything. The path to an equalizer looked nearly impossible. The upset was on. Time slipped away for Costa Rica. Each passing second felt like an eternity. The clock was their enemy, relentlessly ticking down, pushing them closer to the brink of elimination. Every attack seemed to fizzle out, every pass just a little off. 70th, the minutes continued to drain away. The fans in the stadium could feel the tension, a palpable weight hanging in the air. 75th, fatigue was setting in, both physically and mentally. Players were running on fumes, their movements heavy, their faces etched with desperation. 80th minute. The scoreboard glared, a constant reminder of their dwindling chances. Time was almost up. Desperation replaced structure as they threw everything forward. Tactical formations dissolved, replaced by a frantic urgency. Every player surged ahead, hungry for a goal, willing to risk everything. In the 86th minute, a hopeful ball into the box sparked chaos. It was a hopeful punt, a prayer launched into the crowded penalty area, a moment of pure chance. Amid the scramble, Ugalde lunged for the ball, a desperate stretch, a last-ditch effort to make something happen. Shielding it as a Dominican defender made a clumsy challenge. It was a mistimed tackle, a rash decision born out of pressure, a moment that could change everything. Ugalde went down, the contact was clear. There was no doubt, no hesitation. The foul was evident to everyone in the stadium. The referee's whistle cut through the noise. Penalty. The stadium erupted, a cacophony of cheers and groans, a moment of pure, unadulterated drama. Costa Rican fans erupted in relief. A collective sigh of hope swept through the stands, a chance to salvage the game. Dominican players protested in disbelief. They surrounded the referee, pleading their case, arguing that the challenge was fair, that Ugalde had dived. It was the moment Costa Rica had prayed for, a golden opportunity to equalize, to breathe life back into their World Cup dreams, a lifeline in the dying minutes, a chance to rewrite the narrative, to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat, to silence the doubters. The stadium split, a sea of contrasting emotions, a visual representation of the high stakes and the polarized loyalties. One side in celebration, a joyous explosion of green, white, and red, a collective release of pent-up anxiety. The other in heartbreak, a stunned silence, a wave of despair washing over the Dominican supporters, their hopes dashed in an instant. The decision stood. The referee remained resolute, unmoved by the protests, his authority unwavering. Now, everything rested on the next kick. The weight of a nation, the hopes of a team, all balanced on the shoulders of one player. The tension was unbearable. You could cut it with a knife, the air thick with anticipation, the silence broken only by the frantic beating of hearts. For the Dominican Republic, it was a cruel twist, a moment of misfortune, a setback that threatened to derail their entire campaign. For Costa Rica, hope was reborn, a second chance, an opportunity to seize control of their destiny, to prove their worth. The stage was set for a hero. Who would step up? Who would embrace the pressure? Who would etch their name into Costa Rican footballing folklore? The tension was palpable, a thick blanket of anticipation settling over the stadium. All eyes turned to Manfred Ugalde, Costa Rica's rising star, a beacon of hope for a nation hungry for victory. He represented the future, the embodiment of their dreams on the pitch. At 23, he'd already shown flashes of brilliance, proving his mettle in Europe, honing his skills against some of the world's best defenders. He was a force to be reckoned with. And now, on this crucial night, he carried his nation's hopes, the weight of a country resting squarely on his young shoulders. The fans believed in him, their cheers echoing his name. The Dominican players, sensing the pressure, tried to rattle him, employing every trick in the book to break his focus. They were desperate to gain any advantage. The keeper, a seasoned veteran, danced on his line, a psychological game of cat and mouse, trying to unnerve the young striker. The crowd roared and whistled, a deafening cacophony of sound designed to intimidate and distract. The atmosphere was electric, charged with nervous energy. But Ugalde remained unfazed. He picked up the ball, his movements deliberate and calm. He placed it carefully on the spot, ensuring it was perfectly positioned. Every detail mattered, and blocked out the chaos, shutting out the noise, the pressure, the doubt. He focused, creating a bubble of calm amid the storm, a sanctuary of concentration where only the ball and the goal existed. This was the ultimate test. Skill and nerve under crushing pressure, a moment that would define him, a moment that would be etched in the memories of fans for years to come. Many have faltered here, succumbing to the weight of the moment, their dreams shattered on the penalty spot. But Ugalde looked resolute, his eyes filled with determination, his stance radiating confidence. He was ready. He took a few steps back, measuring the distance, calculating the angle, preparing for the run-up. Eyes on the ball, then the goal, a quick assessment, a final adjustment. He knew what he had to do. Everything came down to this moment, the culmination of years of training, sacrifice, and dedication. His career, his country's hopes, the dreams of a nation, all hanging in the balance. The weight of expectation, all on his shoulders, a burden that could crush even the strongest of wills. He had to deliver. He had to find a way to overcome the pressure, to rise to the occasion, to seize the moment. The stadium held its breath, a collective silence descending as the world waited to see what would happen next. Ugalde took a deep breath and began his run-up short, sharp, confident. The Dominican keeper guessed left, diving early. Ugalde struck with precision, sending the ball low and hard into the opposite corner. The net rippled the perfect penalty. The stadium exploded in celebration. Costa Rica had their equalizer. Ugalde's composure under pressure was remarkable. He delivered when it mattered most, turning the game on its head. A weak shot would have doomed Costa Rica. His flawless strike gave them life. It was a message of resilience and confidence. One chance taken with clinical efficiency. The team and fans erupted in joy. Ugalde's moment of brilliance lifted everyone. The score was level, the drama far from over. The Gold Cup had its hero. As the ball hit the net, Ugalde sprinted to the corner, roaring in triumph. He slid on his knees, arms wide, overwhelmed by emotion. Teammates swarmed him, the bench emptied in celebration. The stadium transformed, anxiety replaced by euphoria among Costa Rican fans. Flags waved, strangers hugged, the noise was deafening. Ugalde's goal felt like a victory. On the other side, Dominican players stood in disbelief. Dreams dashed in an instant. Their fans fell silent, the drums fading. The contrast was stark ecstasy and heartbreak in the same arena. One kick had changed everything. The emotional roller coaster of football was on full display. This was a moment no one would forget. Ugalde's equalizer didn't just change the score, it flipped the match's momentum. Costa Rica, once frantic, now surged with belief, pressing for a winner. The Dominican Republic, so disciplined before, looked shaken and vulnerable. Their energy drained, their defense stretched. Costa Rica attacked relentlessly, the crowd urging them on. The Dominicans clung on, desperate for the final whistle. The game's narrative shifted from upset to comeback. Costa Rica salvaged a vital point, keeping their Gold Cup hopes alive. The goal was a lifeline, a turning point. In football, it's never over until the final whistle. The match ended 1-1, a dramatic draw. Costa Rica, relieved, applauded their fans. The Dominicans, heartbroken, had earned respect. Manfred Ugalde was the hero, his name sung by thousands. His penalty was more than a goal. It was a statement of character and skill. He stepped up when it mattered most, defining his international career. The point kept Costa Rica in contention. The Dominicans proved they belonged. This was classic Gold Cup drama. Passion, tension, unforgettable moments. Ugalde's kick became a memory for the ages. Football is about these moments. Hope, heartbreak, and heroes. One kick, one story, remembered for years to come.